Enterprise Stories is the weekly radio program that shares the experiences of successful Nigerian entrepreneurs and provides expert analysis of their success factors. Enterprise Stories, business stories of success.
Good day, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Enterprise Stories. My name is Abiodun Afolabi, and I'm your host for the program. We have an interesting lineup of programming for you today. To start the program, in our faculty teaching segment, we'll be looking at generating demand for your business. And in the story of the day segment, we have an entrepreneur that will be talking from the telecom sector. But we'll take a quick break and be right back.
Let's talk about moving forward. You need a brand new car or a home loan so you can live in your own house, or perhaps a credit card to shop around the world. You've also been thinking about getting finance for your trade. Well, at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we've got all the products and services you need so you can move from where you are to where you want to be. Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, moving forward.
Welcome to the teaching segment of the Enterprise Stories. Our faculty today is Mr. Victor Afolabi, and he will be taking us on generating demand for our business. Mr. Victor is the MD of GDM Consulting Group. Welcome, Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much, Wale. Good morning, listeners. Today we will be talking about generating demand for our goods and services or whatever we have to offer the marketplace. It's been known that cash flow is the blood of any business. Without cash flow, every business stifles and dies. But cash flow is only a product or a fruit of a process. The real process in itself is generating demand. Whenever we have demand issues for our goods and services, then there's no cash flow and ultimately there's no business. What then does it entail for us to generate demand? Generating demand means ability for us to get people to pay for whatever we have to offer and offer the value we're offering to the people at the marketplace, and ability for them to pay a commensurate price that keeps our business afloat. Generating demand involves our ability to drive the sales and marketing aspect of our businesses. Sales is a crucial function to any business, irrespective of what we're doing. Whether you're in service industry, you run the church, you need to be sure that people are patronizing you and are paying value for what you have to offer. The minute you don't have sales, then you are not in business at all. All of us need to learn the ability to sell. You need to sell yourself as a politician or a public official. You need to be able to sell your goods as somebody who is in manufacturing, and that is the only way you can be sure that your business is going to live long term. What then are the strategies you have put into place to identify the people who are going to patronize or who need the goods and services you have? How then, after identifying them, are you able to sell your product to them effectively? It's all a perception. Your ability to position your product or service in the mind of the people for them to know that they need your product or your product is valuable to them is what keeps your sales function running and keeps your cash flow to be generated consistently in your business. Marketing also is the ability for you to anticipate this need, and as you see the need in the people, you need to put the strategies in place for you to be able to fill this need. It is marrying these two functions that helps you drive what is called the top line growth of any business. Top line growth is very crucial for the survival of any business in the marketplace, irrespective of what the environmental factors are, or irrespective of the business challenges you're faced with, even irrespective of the recklessness of the management of the business. Once there's continuous sales and once there's continuous marketing and top line growth of a business, the business is likely to survive long term. Take a very clear example. The reason why Nigeria has not experienced so much of the economic challenges and bankruptcy that some other countries are going through currently is the fact that there's still some level of demand for crude, which is the major source of our income, and we're still selling. The minute you are still in the business of selling your goods and services, you will remain in business long term. So to recap, what we're driving at is that we all must learn how to develop sales abilities, sales functions of our businesses, and how to generate marketing strategies to anticipate demand and properly get this demand filled in a profitable manner. The combination of these two functions is what drives your demand, and that's basically what we mean by driving or generating demand for your goods and services.
Thank you, Mr. Victor, for the teaching segment for today. Listeners, we'll be back after this short break for the story of the day.
Let's talk about moving forward. You need a brand new car or a home loan so you can live in your own house, or perhaps a credit card to shop around the world. You've also been thinking about getting finance for your trade. Well, at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we've got all the products and services you need so you can move from where you are to where you want to be. Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, moving forward.
Welcome to the Story of the Day segment, and in the studio today is Mr. Abiodun Afolabi, the CEO of SB Telecoms Limited. Mr. Afolabi, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I'm very sure that our listeners today will be very interested in your story. So tell us, how did you start SB Telecoms?
SB Telecoms started in 2003. But the incorporation of SB Telecoms was in 2004. In 2003, when we started, the business started on the street of Odunlami in a kiosk. And what we do then is making phone calls and selling recharge cards. I'm sure, you or any of our listeners would have waved us down to buy a recharge card from us at Odunlami then. And from Odunlami, we moved to, a small shop in Kakawa, from Kakawa to Bangbushe. What moved us out of Kakawa was because the property we occupy was bought over, which was where the business challenges started. In less than 1 week we were evicted from the building. Which was after we got some properties and some office equipment, furniture to start as a recharge card wholesaler. After the Kakawa experience, because for me, it has always been my interest after school, because I started business immediately after school. I studied urban town and regional planning in Laspo Tech. But my intention is I want to start something that I can call my own. I never for once had the intention of looking for a job anywhere. My interest is run my own business and start my own thing. And recharge card was, what came to my mind there, and that was what I started. But because I'm starting something I'm not familiar with, without any experience, without any formal training on how to run a business. Okay, but I'm highly determined. This thing must work. Just to quickly summarize, we moved from retail business to wholesale recharge card. But unfortunately for me, because of my inexperience, I really don't understand that to run a wholesale business, there are so many things you need to put in place in terms of how to keep your books, marketing strategy, managing relationship. All these things were not, I don't have it. Okay, so which was what was responsible for the very first problem I have in 2005, 2006. When I was leaving recharge card business in 2007, I had a debt of about 26 million at the age of 26 years. 26 million. So when
Wow.
So my father, my mom, all my family, the first question they'll put at you is, what did you use 26 million for? And between the two of us, I can tell you that I did not squander this money. These are some of the things you experience if you don't, get things right as startup.
Yes.
Vulnerability. I had some issues with my bankers too. Then also again, not properly understanding the market terrain, making orders and supplying without a proper documentation and LPO. So just to summarize it, I had a 26 million naira debt at 26 years old. So that informed my decision to re-strategize. As a matter of fact, one mistake I think I made, which later I had to just quickly retrace my steps. Because I was owing Intercontinental Bank 26 million. The very first one I did was just to, because my grandmother's property was at stake, as security. So what I did was just to run away. Because when the debt was becoming an issue, the bankers were in my grandmother's house, and the woman that did, with that gave me a pledge as security because of the relationship I have. and was ready to like go all the way just to get his grandson to succeed. So just imagine an old woman, you know, and two gentlemen from the bank said, "Ma, we are here to take over your property." Instantly, you know, I mean, she collapsed, and the next minute I got a call from one of my aunt that stays with my grandmother that the bank is about to take your grandmother's possession and your grandmother is now in the hospital. I was coming from one of my debtors' shop, you know, along Orile Costain, you know, because I was on a bike. So instantly I got that news. The first thing that occurred to me is just to run away. I had like 160,000 on me. So the first option was jump on the next bus to Maitu. From Maitu, I landed in Ghana. I was in Ghana for a week, you know, unreachable. And the next thing I saw was my brother trying to say to me, and that is actually what changed me. There was this popular Yoruba adage you used for me that Teshiba Dani Aman Tungoni, when you fall from the horse, you don't run away from it. You don't say, I won't ride horse again. You have to learn and still ride the horse. And that was what I did. Before then, what I used to think was what I needed to start a business was money. Okay, but later I realized that money was actually the last thing I need.
At what point did you realize this, and when did everything start to change?
Well, like I said to you, the change started, you know, when I had this online chat with my brother, you know, and I said to myself, I will have to face this. You know, I started it and I will have to finish it. You know, somehow, you know, the courage was there. You know, I was highly determined. I really want to resolve this issue, and I came back. But the first thing I did was to review all my business activity. I'm a dealer to Globalcom. I'm a dealer to Intercellular. I'm a dealer to Starcoms. And I said to myself, the business of recharge card business, is this something I still want to do? After analyzing, I realized that recharge card dealers, most of us are just mere cash collectors for operators. It's not a business I can add value to. And if you look at, if you've been following the trend of, all the dealers you have between 2004 and 2009, you know, most of the people that started recharge card distribution are out of business today, including, SB Telecoms. Okay, so what I said was, I'm in telecoms. I know a lot. I know about telecoms very well now. I have computer experience. What can I do still in this industry, different from what I've been doing, you know, which will be unique to me, that I can add value to. The company has gone beyond just telecoms now. We're into biometrics, we're into access control, IT support services. You know, these are all the new line of service we created when SB Telecoms was redefined. But you asked a question, which is, you know, when did you actually acquire all these skills? Okay, you know, why my own case is unique is because most of what I know today, the bulk of it, I learned on the job. I made several mistakes. At some point, you know, I remember, you know, going through the papers, and I saw a particular advert, Certificate in Entrepreneurial Management, SEM. I looked at it and I said, I've gotten to a point in the business now that I need a formal education. So, education that would really help the business and change the business for good. You know, because, I remember back in class when all our facilitators come with all their models. You know, most time my business case is usually, virtually everything they want to say, don't do are those things I did that was responsible for my 26 million naira debt. So in the process, so many things I learned. Through SEM, I became a better accountant. I became a better sales and marketing officer, a better technical person. So, all the basic tools of operation which is required to run, a business.
Let's translate this to Naira Kobo.
Yeah.
SB Telecoms started with recharge card business. And owing 26 million naira.
Yes.
And today, SB Telecoms is supporting 260 companies in the area of telecoms. Yes. And other devices. And another 50 companies in the area of biometrics
solution and access.
Now, in terms of Naira and Kobo, SB Telecoms is not owing 26 million naira again.
And the special grace of God.
Okay. And now you have a turnover in the neighborhood of about...
we're doing close to 600 million
okay.
per annum now, and with a balance sheet size of about 100 and something million.
Okay. All right. So, what are the last words? I mean, for those young people out there that are thinking of going into the telecoms business, what would you advise them?
What you need first is not money. Work on your idea. And when your idea is, well, thought out, then you can now go to the next level of how can I get this thing going. If you're out of school, you can do it by yourself. You don't have to wait for government. All this issue of I'm looking for a job will not be an issue for you. So that's my word of advice.
Thank you very much, SB Telecoms, for coming to share your story with us today. Listeners, you've heard it from SB Telecoms. You need to work on your idea before you start thinking of how to get the funds to be able to make that idea work. Thank you very much again.
Thank you for
We'll be back
having me.
after this short break.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about moving forward. You need a brand new car or a home loan so you can live in your own house, or perhaps a credit card to shop around the world. You've also been thinking about getting finance for your trade. Well, at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we've got all the products and services you need so you can move from where you are to where you want to be. Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, moving forward.
Welcome back. We're now in the expert analysis segment, and another Mr. Afolabi will be doing the analysis for us of the story that we've heard today about SB Telecoms.
Thank you very much, Wale. Afolabi, 26 million at age 26. Wow. For so many people, it looks like a scenario that is likely to sink you. But I would like to bring out just 5 critical things he did right, which is very crucial. The first is learn as an entrepreneur to learn from your errors. There's no shortcut about it. You must be willing to learn. I came across one of the quotes I once saw a few years ago, and it's helped me develop so much in life. It says, when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. So the first thing is, irrespective of what the circumstance is, be willing to admit where you are and be willing to learn and grow. Those were some of the crucial steps he took in his business. You never stop learning. The minute you stop learning, you begin to have issues. The second ingredient as an entrepreneur is you must be persistent. In business, there are always surprises. Murphy's Law says if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. Expect the same thing as you step out in business, but always be persistent. No matter what you are faced with at any point in time, even if it is 26 million at age of 26, be confident in yourself and your ability to get through it and to put your business back on the path of growth. What is the top thing he did right? You need to learn how to create systems, processes and structures for your business. That's the survival strategy for every organization. Remember, I said it initially, the fault is the bankers, the fault is my staff, and a couple of all that. Make sure that you have the right system, the right structures, and the right processes of your business. It helps you survive long term. Generating 26 million is not the issue. Ability to preserve that money and get that money to keep working for you is the big deal. Without the right system, processes and structures, then you cannot guarantee long-term sustainable growth of your business. What is the fourth point? Never overlook documentation. Documentation with friends and families and all business associates. Never overlook it. The concept of documentation cannot be overemphasized. Make sure people write for things they pick from you. Make sure people write invoices, pro forma invoices. Make sure you have auditors coming from time to time to look at your books. It is crucial. You are never too small for you to allow a third party just see what your books look like. It saves you a lot of heartache as an entrepreneur. Most entrepreneurs, because they have the I can do it attitude and the go get it attitude, many of them find it difficult to settle down and be able to write. People pick things without having receipts. These are very important. The people who created this business structure like receipts and pro forma invoices could not have been crazy. I mean it means that these are the things that help the business to run. Always respect documentation. And the final point on this is, what makes you a millionaire is not having $1 million naira. It's the process you go through to generate $1 million naira. In the process of generating funds and losing funds, he became a true millionaire. He learned how to win. He learned how to do it right. He developed himself. There will not be shortcuts. He looked at the strategies. He looked at where he was, and therefore he could confidently say, I grew the business from a debt of 26 million to a billing of 600 million turnover and a balance sheet of 100 million. It's no mean feat, but I can tell you that is the process that has made him to be who he is. Take everything away from him now, he's able to recreate the system and the process, and that is the definition of true wealth or riches, not the shortcuts and not the lotteries. Thank you very much, and Afolabi, that was a good one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor, for that clear-cut analysis. I'm sure our listeners will have taken a few pointers into the analysis you've given today. On that note, we've come to the end of the episode of the Enterprise Stories for today. Please stay tuned for another interesting episode. Enterprise Stories is brought to you by Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-African University. For questions or comments, please email edc@pau.edu.ng or log on to Enterprise Stories on nigeria.sme2k.org for useful resources and articles to help grow your business.